All right, good morning and greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank you all for tuning in to today's Lions Talk Live. Hey, we had a little bit of a live show late last night, and I'm sure most of you got to see the news, whether it be this channel or different other media outlets. Lions went ahead and added a little bit to the offensive line, getting another guard, a Pro Bowler, to bring on in. And man, oh man, we're talking about how much we came into this free agency window being told by Brad Holmes and the Detroit Lions, hey, they weren't going to do anything. They weren't going to get a big splash name. We get that. They didn't do that. But what they did, or have done, I should say, is they've gone ahead and beefed up seemingly the whole team. There's just very few holes left on this team. It doesn't seem like there's any real true glaring weakness. We've only lost 3 players. You could argue that we've replaced those 3 players already and maybe even upgraded a lot of other spots. So that leads me to ask the question, could the Lions still go for something more? Could they still be considering signing another player, maybe 2, I guess, at the right cost to add to this team? If so, what spot or position would you guys want? I'm going to guess most of us are going to probably say defensive end. But with that also being said, they have brought in a couple of different guys, Betts being one, Davenport being another. You got Houston back from injury. Are we just now at this point done with free agency, or are we still considering 1 or 2 people and now focusing on the draft, which, let's not forget, the draft is only about a month away. All right, before we start to deep dive this thing, a couple things, formalities I got to get out of the way. You guys all know the gist. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We're about, 60 subs away from 6,200 subscribers. And if you are willing to do so, please help the channel out. Hit that subscribe button. Also, if you enjoy the content within the videos, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button thingy. That helps out a ton. Last but never least, just because I'm a working man and apparently I enjoy working a lot. So if you are considering buying or selling property anywhere in the great state of Michigan, give me a call or shoot me a text. You see the number on the screen, 269-998-2384. Let's see what I can do to help save you some money on the cost of either buying or selling your property. Just give me a call, shoot me a text anywhere in the state of Michigan, Upper Peninsula, Lower Peninsula, Detroit area, Lansing area, Sturgis area, Kalamazoo area. You get the idea, and all over the state. If you're outside the state of Michigan, you can still contact me, and I can try to help you out with any of the questions I can answer for you, plus maybe point you in the right direction for someone who can work on your behest in your local area. All right, with all that out of the way, let's talk about it. Can the Lions still make another move or 2? Can they still bring in another impactful player? There are some, turning towards defensive ends, just because I'm guessing that's where most people are going to say that, or maybe safety. I guess there could be an argument made for wide receiver. There are still some good players out there that could add and bolster the team. Is that where we're going to go? Or are we going to stay pat? Let's discuss, see what you guys have to say. All right, JDC, good morning, all. Good morning to you, too, my friend. Hopefully having a great morning Mountain Dew, too. Michael, greetings, salutations, coach and Dew crew. Lots of exclamation points. Woo! The first woo of the show. All right, Bo, what do you got? Good morning, Dew crew. What else is left that for a decent price, that fits for a decent price? As far as free agents available, man, I think you're going to be hard-pressed to really bring in anybody who's going to be a huge impact player. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's somebody who, on a 1-year prove-it deal or something could come in and really just play, as best they can to try to secure a bigger contract next year. So perhaps there's something there. If you guys have any kind of thoughts or recommendations on who the Lions should target at this point, go ahead and throw them out. All right, Robert, greetings and salutations. Back at you. Michael, Brad Holmes is cooking. Brad Holmes cooking makes me hungry for some football. Hey, every day, Michael, we are one step closer to being back in the season for NFL football. Let's not forget, man, we got the draft in 30 days. We got preseason training camps, etc., opening up in July, and then we get preseason games in August. So we're getting closer and closer. Moonscar, good morning, Dew crew. Early birds, 100%. Hopefully having a great one there, my friend. Enjoying your day. Polar Bear, Brad Holmes has done enough to go best player available, but position value still matters. If there is an offensive tackle that Brad likes, you have to draft him at 29 or after trading down a few spots. I like Jordan Morgan. No, and to your point, Polar Bear, man, we have every luxury in the world in front of us right now. We could trade up for a specific player. We could trade back to try to acquire more draft capital. Either is possible. We can stay pat and just take whoever we feel is the best player at 29. And I guess the nice part about what Brad Holmes has done is he's gotten a ton of talent out of the drafts. He has now augmented that talent on this team with some what seems to be good signings across the board for free agents that can help the team, impact the team, while not breaking the bank. We still have salary cap space, and that's really mind-numbing to think he's been able to do this and still keep roughly, doing it in my head, 12 to 15 million in available cap space. Maybe it's a little bit more or less, but it's somewhere right around there. All right, Trump, good morning, crew. Back at you. Hopefully you're having a great one. All right, Mike the Marine. Howdy, Dan, Lions faithful. Great signings with contracts, contract years, and money. Yeah, he's spread it across so many different spots, and I still think they could go after someone. Could they still pick up somebody? Maybe a safety, maybe an end. I don't know, man. It's just crazy what they could do to still add to the team before the draft. All right, Trump, hit the like. Yes, if you are in the channel and you're liking the show, hit the like button. If you haven't yet subscribed, you get the gist. Please consider subscribing. All right, Hookadoo. Good morning, Coach and Duke crew. Grit, 100%. And, every player they brought in so far seems to fit that particular dynamic. They're wired a particular way. The newest guard, man, he's come on in and he's already talked about how he liked the culture here, thinks he can contribute from day one. So good thing for us that we got him. Anthony, good morning, Duke Crew. Super Bowl or bust, 1,000%. And buddy, thank you for all you're doing, helping out people with the t-shirts, the whole shebang and bang. Thank you very much. All right, Trump's defensive end or big ugly with first pick. I think that's based on Holmes. What I would say is perceived track record. That's where I would be guessing they would go. Someone on either the defensive or offensive line. So I would agree with that. Anthony, get your Duke Crew t-shirts. Help support the channel. ! Thanks for all your orders. Yeah, if you guys aren't aware, Anthony's handling the t-shirts at this time. Contact him and see. I think he wants orders in by the 23rd for the first round of Duke Crew t-shirts. So go ahead and contact him, my friends. All right, Lions fan number one, greetings, salutations all. Man, I am loving what Holmes is cooking up for the team. We are solid across the board. We really are. Think about this. We've debated for a few months now, Jared Goff, Hendon Hooker. No matter what happens, and I'm going to assume Jared Goff's your starter, but Hendon Hooker should be, or at least appears to be, an adequate backup. Running back room. Man, we've got already probably, without doing anything in draft or anything further in free agency, you got 4 guys who are ready to go, 2 that are studs and 2 very capable backups. Wide receiver room, I think we all get there's depth across the board. Yes, they're going to probably get at some point this summer a new contract worked out for St. Brown, so he'll remain. But then you got Jameson Williams developing. You could see it throughout the season, and by the end of the season, he was looking pretty stout. You've got a number of other guys that we've brought in, Donovan Peoples-Jones, et cetera, et cetera. Green, the rookie from last year, that should be able to contribute. Tight end room seems to be getting fairly deep as well. Mitchell is no slouch for a backup, along with some of the other guys behind Laporta. Offensive line, I think that's where most of us had some question marks about the team. But now with yesterday's signing, it seems like we've got, if nothing else, a starting lineup and some backups now that have another year of experience. What they do in the draft, I do believe that they're going to look to add to that room, the offensive line room, whether it's a guard, center, tackle, who knows, but they'll just add more depth to it. And same on the defensive line, the linebackers. You can go through it spot by spot. There just doesn't seem to be any holes on this team. Nothing glaring or egregious. All right, Matthew, I think Brad has the team set so that he can go into the draft and take the best player available, or he can bundle and trade up to get a player of interest, and he won't be hurting the team. No, I agree. And we talked about it, I know, in the live cast last night. One of the thoughts a lot of people brought up is it possible that instead of trying to bring in 6 or 7 people, we're only trying to bring in 3 people this particular draft? 3 very targeted, calculated people that can come in and impact the team right away. I think there's an argument to be made just for that. You get to, I'm not going to say positions because we'll wait and see in the draft, but I think, Matthew, you're 100% right. We could, instead of just drafting numbers, just say, hey, we're going for 2 or 3 studs to come in and that we know can either start or gravely contribute throughout the season. All right, Moonscar, what position do you see us needing a little more depth at before the draft? Question mark. Perhaps one more defensive end, another tight end. Those are my thoughts. I'm going to say this. I think defensive end or someone on the defensive line for sure. Some type of offensive lineman. Tight end, I actually like our tight end room. Assuming everybody's healthy, ready to go. After that, I don't know, man. Maybe either safety or kicker. I mean, the cornerback room is just crazy deep right now. Linebacker, I think you can say an argument could be made for that. But when Rodrigo is your backup, that's pretty decent. It's just going to be coming down to basically anybody you draft at a certain point, unless you're willing to just keep them over a veteran just because they're younger, maybe cheaper. You're going to be, a lot of teams in the NFL are going to be watching our cuts and salivating over the idea of we could get this guy and that guy, because there are going to be a lot of guys cut from Detroit that are going to be able to go and play somewhere else and probably make an impact. All right, John King, what do you got? Good morning, Coach. This is a wild free agency, especially for us. Draft is going to be interesting. 100%. I think there are less signs which way we will clearly go in the draft this year than there have been any other year. And that's just going to make it almost impossible to accurately correctly predict where the Lions are going to go in mock drafts. I know you guys wanted another mock draft this week. How about Thursday, if that works for you guys? I can go for next weekend. Just keep in mind, come Friday, I'm on the road for about a week and out of the country. So I'm going to be broadcasting to you guys as best I can while on the road and doing some stuff. So work with me on that. So, all right, Anthony, we need an OG. There we go. We do need an offensive guard. I do think if you had to ask me right now, I am anticipating in the first or second round, that's one of the spots we're going to draft is offensive line. All right, John, good morning, Coach. The new thumbnail is nice. Thanks for that, man. I try to tweak it up a little bit, try to make it a little bit, better looking, and hopefully you guys liked it. Trump, what row do we take the best kicker in the draft? What round, do we take the best kicker in the draft? I would say probably 5, 6, or 7, somewhere later in the draft, just because it does appear that MCDC may not exactly prefer the kicking game. But the other part is, I think that's also kind of where the NFL is going. It's not just Detroit. Detroit might have helped speed up a trend that was already happening, where you see more and more teams, if they get to the 50, they're not punting, they're going for it. If they get to the 45, the other side of the field, they're not exactly lining up to kick it anymore or attempt kicks or punts. They're going for it. So you're seeing a lot more aggression in the NFL as far as fourth down conversions. But then again, if you have a Justin Tucker, that might help push you back and say, hey, we've got guaranteed points here. I'm not going to say we're going to get a Justin Tucker, but hey, if you can get somebody that you really feel has a mule leg and is accurate, that might change your dynamics a little bit. All right, Thaddeus, greetings, salutations, y'all. Keep building it up, Brad Holmes. And he is, man. He's doing a master class for sure. All right, Moonscar, I'm curious to see how much Zenter's contract is worth. I haven't seen that details yet. Now, my guess is today or tomorrow, those details will finally emerge. It's my anticipation somewhere around $8 million a season, but don't for the year, I should say. But don't hold me to that. It could be more, it could be less. Just say, Kay, good morning, everybody. Back at you. Hopefully, I have a great one. Trump's, I see no reason not to take the best kicker in the draft. No, I think it will definitely be an opportunity for them if they want to, if nothing else, provide competition for the kicking spot. So I agree with you on that, man. Bird time. Good morning, Duke crew. Dan, love the moves Brad has made. This team is going to be fun to watch next year. Woo! Thanks for all you do, Dan. A great channel. Hey, I part of why I think the channel works is because you guys, man, flat out, honest, out front. What we do every morning here, I think it works for a lot of different people. And hey, I'm just thankful to be a part of it. All right, Papa Noel, greetings and salutations. To me, just feels like we can take the best player available anywhere in the draft. If we get the better kicker, great. But Badgley isn't terrible. Yeah, I'll go with that. Badgley isn't terrible. But if you can upgrade like you can at any spot, you're going to try to do so. All right, Mike the Marine, thumbs up. Do your part. Yes, hit the thumbs up button and do your part. Thanks for that, Mike. Matthew, what about Zach Frazier out of West Virginia? How good is he? Question mark. Where do you think he can be had in the draft? Whew, that's a good question, man. I'm going to go like the mid 20s to late to the 30s, maybe even the early part of the second round. I think one of the issues facing him is there are so many other players that are going to go off the board. I think through the first 20 picks and offensive players, then a few defensive players once you get into the teens, right around there, and maybe even the early 20s. At that point, is probably where you'll start seeing offensive linemen come off the board. And I'm going to assume, but I could be wrong, Jackson Powers Johnson will be the first one. So a lot of it is going to come down to what those teams in front of us or around that area in the draft are targeting. Are they going after quarterback, receiver? You get the gist. So I do think he could be pushed down to the latter part of the first round or maybe early part of the second. All right, Matthew, I've heard a few people, or excuse me, Clark, I've heard a few people talk about him. Sounds like he's a real force. Yeah, I would agree with that. Scott, what do we got? Love it, exclamation point. Brad Holmes doesn't care about the shiny toys. He's all about the JMTTB. Just make the team better. Let's go Lions. No, I'd say you're spot on with that, man. That's exactly what he's done this free agency. I think about just using Jonah Jackson as an example. And no ill will towards the kid. Hey, he was a ride or die Detroit Lion during his first contract. Time came. Hey, hard to tell somebody not to take a big paycheck, and he did that. He went out there. He got him and his family taken care of for the foreseeable future with this contract. But the other side of it is Brad Holmes said, "Hey, we can get Glasgow and now another offensive lineman, another Pro Bowler who's great in pass blocking." And until we get his numbers, we won't know exactly what he's getting paid. But I'm going to guess you're going to have acquired both of those guys and probably saved $3 or $4 million over the cost of just re-signing Jonah Jackson. So food for thoughts there. All right, Trump, how about a left tackle project? I think that would not be a bad idea. If you could start getting someone in there now, start grooming and developing them, so much the better. Anthony, hey, what's this? Hey, Angie Hackett sent extra cash for T-shirts, Coach, and asked that I get it to you along with some collected. Thank you all. Yeah, thanks for that, guys. Yeah, thank you very much. This, hey, you know what? I get Bobby's got a couple. Friday's her last day at the Circle K before it closes now, and then she gets shipped out. I'll get a hot dog this morning and a Mountain Dew, and I'll leave her a bit of a tip. So I'll make sure she knows it comes from the Dew crew. So thanks, guys. All right, Boo, what do you got? Who's the best kicker in the draft? Question mark. We talked about it in the first mock, but I don't remember much. There was a guy that kicked a 60-plus yard field goal. Yeah, I'm going to guess that. I don't remember his name either, Bo, right now. I want to say he's from Stanford. So just food for thought. Somebody could probably throw his name out there, but I'm pretty sure that's who it is. But yeah, the kid's got a leg. All right, Mike the Marine, awesome, 100%, and thank you. Trump, the guy from Stanford, I think so. Don't hold me to that, but that sounds right. Robert G, good morning. Dan of the Dew crew, back at you, buddy. Hopefully having a great morning. Dave, what do you got? Good morning, all. We entered free agency with some questions. Now we have a whole lot of answers. I think that's a good way to look at it. We wondered what the Lions would do in free agency, if they would do anything. But to your point, they've done more than a little bit. They've signed a number of guys, and this team is starting to look real dang deep. Polar Bear, win now theory E. All right. Wide receiver, Polar Bear, wide receiver edge. All right. Polar Bear, best player for the future center, depending on what they think Ragnow will do. Yeah, man, it's nothing against Ragnow, but I think you do need to start thinking about future on the offensive line, replacing at some point him and Taylor Decker. Decker could maybe extend his career a couple seasons by moving to guard. Ragnow is the one I at least have real questions about. I could see him playing this year, maybe one more, and then he's probably off the board. Decker, who knows, man? But to your point, Polar Bear, yeah, I think you want to plan a little bit for the future. Hater's House, Latua, yeah, he'd be a person of interest and 100%. And he could fall. I still think he's going to go in the late teens to early 20s, but that doesn't mean Brad Holmes couldn't make a trade up or something to acquire him if that's where he's really wanting to go. I know some of you guys have talked about in the chat yesterday or maybe just this week and today about the Western Michigan University kid, Nealon. Hey, he'd be a possibility too, although I do believe while he may have a few more physical traits going his way, he's going to need some time to develop and grow. He's going to need some more mechanical work. So food for thought. Anthony, I really like Latua. Yeah, hard not to like him, man. He's a good story. Rocky M. Greetings and salutations all. Long-time listener, first-time chatter, and have become a fan of the Duke Crew and Lions fan since 1961. Go Lions and good job, Coach. Hey, thanks, man. Thanks for being a part of it. Thanks for chiming in this morning. Glad you're here, man. Hopefully you're enjoying it. Jess, what do you got? Good morning. I still think we draft the WMU kid, Nealon, in the first. The more I learn about him, the more I think he's a beast. He is, man. If you get a chance, if you don't know about this kid, go ahead and check out like some of the film on him. Check out his numbers, his size, his measurables. The kid is off the charts. I mean, I want to say he was the fastest defensive end in the combine. And I get maybe there's a few people that didn't show up, but at that point, though, I'm going to say this: if you're drafting somebody who you don't need right away, and you think you can develop, you have enough faith in your defensive line coach and staff, he's got things, you and me, every coach can't teach. So he might not be a bad option. Trump, we get the best kicker. Dan will lose his nickname, the Gambler. Yeah, he if he has more faith in the kicker, maybe that does change some of his in-game calls. Maybe not. We'd have to wait and see. Malcolm, greetings and salutations. This is the deepest Lions team I've ever seen. I swear, no holes on it. I would agree with that 1,000,000%. Gridon, what do you got? Sherlock Holmes strikes again. Sherlock Holmes. I gotcha. Yeah, he did, man. He solved another puzzle for the team in the offensive line. So I see you there. Anthony, apparently ESPN says our window closed. Shake my head. Are you kidding me? We're just getting started. No, I agree. I think, we talked about that very topic yesterday, and I don't remember which show it was on, but somebody brought it up, and I'm going to say this. I really think Mike Greenberg did that for clickbait. I mean, maybe he honestly believes it. Maybe he believes the Packers have gotten better than us. At least my opinion, I just don't see it, at least not with this free agency. I get they've got some real nice young players. They're going to be better next year than last year. But I also look at the Detroit Lions and say, I don't think we're just going to be a little bit better than last year. I think we're going to be a lot better. We'll see, though. All right, Trump, Rocky, you had me beat by 7 years. There you go. Doug, Anthony, I think ESPN is on crack. All right, fairly noted. And good morning, all. Good morning to you, too. All right, Rocky M, and a little message for Bo. I was born in Charlevoix, the beautiful, and once again, let's go Lions. Yeah, Charlevoix, Michigan is a very nice place. And hopefully, you get to go back up there again. Gary, gotta love Zettler signing. Dare I say the O-line got even better. There's an argument definitely to be made for that, Gary, 100% on that. Zettler, you look at his grades, and I watched some film on him, not as much as I thought I would last night and this morning. But what I can say out of the probably 15 minutes of film I watched, I really like the way he moves in the pocket. And it's nothing against Jonah Jackson. I think Jonah Jackson was a great signing for the Rams. He played well here. I'm just going to focus on the newest line. And I'll say this. I think he's worth whatever. I'm assuming they're paid him. He is getting a little bit older, but at the same time, what he does well, his first step back in pass protection, it's off the charts. You watch that first step back and how he correlates that with his hips and then his elbow structure. So when he's going out with his hands to generate contact, how he's able to keep the pressure inside on the elbows so he can exert more force and leverage on the whoever's coming at him, and he blocks incredibly well. The run game, I'm probably going to hold any comments on it until I see more. Like I said, I only got to watch about 15 minutes or so. But I will say this. I don't see a noticeable difference between him and Jonah Jackson, at least yet. I'm going to anticipate, though, Jonah Jackson is a better run blocker than him. But you might be splitting hairs on that even to a degree. So take it with a grain of salt. Moodscar, I don't need a window when we have a coach and players that players love and will run through walls. I like what you did there. We'll make our own window. Thanks. Yeah, 100%. And, hey, Greenberg can have his opinion, but we'll wait and see what the Lions do. I still think right now, man, all roads to the playoffs for the NFC North go through Detroit, and I don't see that changing this year, maybe even next year. All right, Garrett, greetings and salutations, exclamation point. I'm loving how calculated Brad has been with this free agency. Big splashes, no, but he's building a dynasty, and I can get behind that. Yeah, he is. He's not going all in on one or two people. He's spreading the wealth across a lot of different people and keeping the entire team strong. And I applaud him for it because, yes, I think most fans would love it if we just got some huge, news captivating signing, one that ESPN and CNN and whoever else is out there is writing about and say, man, Lions just won the Super Bowl at this signing. But to Brad's point, he has said, we're not going to win in the spring. We're going to win in the season. And what he's doing, man, he's making sure that this team isn't salary cap strapped, not bad contracts, and you know what? Calculated signings that make the team better and keep us all guessing and wondering what can happen in the draft because everything is available to us at this point. All right, Bo, nice to hear, Rocky, 100%. Phil, hey, some guys dominating the chat every day. Good day to folks. Good day to you too, Philly. Hopefully having a great one. And Phil's got a new guitar in the thumbnail. Check it out. Southwest, good morning, all. What a great signing by Brad Holmes to get Kevin Zettler. Any word on the dollar amount of the contract? Not at this time, or at least not that I saw before going on air this morning, I should say, Southwest. But my guess is later today or tomorrow, we'll get those details. Garrett, not much talk about picking up Milk in the media, but I watched some film and he fits. Yeah, I agree. He fits us with our D. Short, but can play big to challenge big receivers and can play small when it needs to shed blocks. No, I agree. And again, I've talked about this a little bit this week. Check out the radius on him, his wingspan, and his ability to cover and break on passes. I think you're seeing a universal move by the Detroit Lions with any of the free agent cornerbacks they've either traded for or brought in, that they want them to be able to play man. They want them to be able to play press man, recover, switch directions, and be able to defend or deflect passes. So to me, I do believe they are going and showing signs that they're going to come out and be assertive and aggressive throughout the entire season. They're going to be Blitzburg, Silver Rush, whatever you want to call them. They're going after the other team's quarterback, and they're going to make sure you want to complete passes on us. Every pass is going to be contested. This kid, man, to your point, he's fast, he's shifty, he's got some twitch in him. I like him, and I don't know if he's going to be a starter full time, but I'll say this: he's got great depth, or Brad Holmes has developed great depth in that secondary. You're going to be able to see a lot of guys play corner, safety, corner. Because to be fair, most of our safeties are basically corners who've been converted into their positions. So I like what you're saying and thinking. All right, Anthony, Coach, please add contact information. Oh boy, sorry, man, if I didn't do that yet. Hold on. I'll try to get it on the air. Survey says I got to dig it up, Anthony. Hold on. All right, so real quick, if you want to order some shirts with Anthony, let me get this. I really should do this ahead of time. Sorry, guys. I'm typing as fast as I can and trying to make sure it's accurate. All right, just put it in the comments section, Anthony's contact information. If you want to still order some shirts before the 23rd cutoff, go ahead and contact him. Sorry about that, Anthony. All right, Southwest Lion, Brad Holmes has improved the roster with these free agent moves without bankrupting the cap or taking away flexibility to make further moves. No, I agree. I mean, so far we've acquired all this talent, and it's cost us a 1/3 round pick, but we did get a stout cornerback and 2 draft picks back in return. So there is that. Kara, I'd say in the draft we could do edge, maybe add another safety for depth kicker and depth on the offensive line. Yeah, and it sounds like most of us agree basically where we're going to potentially go in the draft. We'll have to wait and see, though. Hooker time. Good morning, all. Good morning to you, too. Hopefully you have a great one, man. Gary, Brad, pretty much, okay, boys, now go get that ring. Brad's nickname should be the Magician. He never ceases to amaze me. No, that's a good one. Maybe we can drop the Dollar General Brad moniker and add the Magician to him. Come back, Zach. What do you got? Hey, pal, where do you stand on Goff's contract and the potential emergence of Hendon Hooker? My thoughts are they're probably in some level of negotiations with Jared Goff. I'm also been on record saying for a few months now, I do think they're going to wait and see the preseason games, how Hooker performs before they fully invest in Jared Goff. At least that's my belief. And I get why, because it is a business. And, if you can save 30, 40 million a year going with a rookie for the next couple of years, What's he going to have? 2 years, 3 years left on his contract? Then you know what? That's a lot of money you can spread on other positions. That also being said, Jared Goff has done nothing but be phenomenal here in Detroit. I would think even the biggest Goff dislikers or haters or whatever are going to have to admit that, hey, he got us to within 3 points of the Super Bowl. It's hard to really find an easy route to improve upon the quarterback position over him. So could they sign him sooner? Sure. What's he going to get? And I don't know. I don't think it's going to be $50 million a year. I think it's going to be closer to 40. And then I guess you'd have to ask yourself, look around the NFL. How many quarterbacks now get $40 million a year? And where do you put, Goff on that scale with those other quarterbacks? So that's my thoughts. All right, David, Brad Cooking, always. He doesn't seem to stop. All right, Donkey Kong, Super Bowl or bust, 100%. And good morning to you, Donkey. All right, Donkey Kong, who cares? But just let Brad Holmes cook. Yeah, he's cooking nonstop, man. Doug, what do you got? Maybe an edge if the right one at the right contract, safety, maybe same deal. Yeah, I could see us adding one more safety, whether it be in the draft or free agency. Robert G, best available player at 29. We should trust Brad and MCDC to get what they need. Yeah, at this point, why would you question any move they make? They just seem to be right all the time. Gary, dare Brad even try to add another weapon on offense? Could they add, I guess, another wide receiver? I guess, yeah, it would. If you feel like that player is just that good, why wouldn't you add him? All right, Doug, what do you got? Maybe extend our best receiver, St. Brown. Yeah, I'm going to guess somewhere over the spring and summer that's going to happen. I don't question that at all. David, is there an edge out there, either in free agency or draft, that can be a difference maker? Question mark. Giovanni, boy, I always kill Giovanni, Clowney, maybe. Question mark. Javian Clowney, maybe. It's possible for sure. You're gonna have to trust your scouting department to do those deep dives. I know I've made my speech about Nealand earlier. Maybe that's the route they go. Maybe it's Latua. Who knows? As far as available free agents, there's nobody that readily comes to my mind that's still available that would be, I would think, a Brad Holmes type of player. But if you guys got somebody, let me know. Let's see. Robert G, is anyone going to the draft? Let me know in the comment section if you guys are going. Thomas, I have come full circle back to edge position in the draft. We really need to find a guy to pair with Hutchinson. Darius Robinson is a 3-down edge. That's a person I know they'll be looking at. And I know we've talked about a few different guys. We'll see where the Lions end up going, but they're going to probably have a few good options in front of them at pick 29. David Brand has something up his sleeve. We need Mad Max. Oof. I just wonder, would they be willing to give up that much to get him? Because I'm guessing it would be multiple first-round picks and then probably even other picks on top of that. Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, it would be something to get him in here because, man, that defensive line would be scary good at that point. All right, Doug, I think Brad is scouring places we don't know or for couch players, but he's always looking for special teams still. Speed and versatility. Yeah, 100%. He wants guys that can play multiple spots. The Lions want that as well. And he's willing to look in places maybe other GMs haven't traditionally looked a ton. So you're spot on with that. St. Brown, 100%. Ken, greetings, salutations, Danny and crew. Polar Bear position value still matters? Question mark. Someone that hasn't been paying attention. Woo! Just kidding, Bear. There you go. And, hey, to your point, Brad Holmes has shown that he's going to go ahead and just draft whatever he feels is the best position. He's not worried about what the popular opinion, the national media, or anything else is saying about it. So I agree. Merc time. Dude Crew, don't forget to order your T-shirts. Anthony is doing an amazing job for the channel. Great guy. Yes, he is. So I put his contact information in the chat. So go ahead and get that. If you want to order one, contact him. All right, Anthony Allen, good morning, everyone. Back at you. Hopefully you have a good one. Arthur, excuse me, I think, yeah, Arthur Allen. Sorry about that. Bo, what do you got? Mainstream media likes big names. This is true. Mick doesn't fit the bill. Brad Holmes has made so many moves that he can't keep up. They can't keep up. Yeah, they can't. And, I'm surprised the national media at some level hasn't talked more about what the Lions have done. But to your point also, Bo, like I said, there's no big splash names, the big names, so it probably gets missed over by other bigger news, I guess you could say, at least in their perception. Doug, what do you got regarding the draft? He can wait on best player available they have on their board. Offensive line, edge, wide receiver, especially wide receiver since Donovan Peoples-Jones is only on a one-year deal. Not sure about Green. They know more than I do. Yeah, Green, we all saw some stuff with him last year. Obviously, it wasn't enough for him to break into the lineup and get, significant reps or anything. But now it's year 2. Now he's going to be further developed. If they decide to go wide receiver or whatever position they want in the draft, I'm going to assume it's because they just feel like that's the best player that was presented to them at that particular pick. And how, if you draft the best players available all the time, you could say this, you're adding more and more talent to the team, regardless of what your team may need. But this team doesn't need much anywhere. Ken, wish we knew how the draft prospects were doing in their interviews. That would give us half a chance to get our mocks in the ballpark. Yeah. And unfortunately, that stuff's, if you're not there in person, you don't know what they're doing or how they're grading things. So we're all going to have to guess on that stuff. All right, Anthony, according to Sideline Report, Josh Reynolds is gone. Anyone else hear anything about that? I have not heard anything about Josh Reynolds. I can only say when we signed Donovan Peoples-Jones, at least to me, that seemed to say that Josh Reynolds is probably done in Detroit. Who knows? Maybe he signed something. I get him and his representation are going to test the waters. They're going to try to secure a contract that's good for him at the dollar amount that he's after. That being said, the longer it goes in free agency where he hasn't signed, that price tag only typically goes one way. All right, Manifest My Destiny. Good morning, Dan. Wishing you and your family an excellent Tuesday. Thanks for that, man. Same to you, by the way. What do you think Holmes will do in the draft? Trade up, trade down, or stay put? It's the $1 million question, ain't it? For me, and it's hard for me to say what Brad Holmes would do because I'm going to view it from how I would look at it, and how I would look at this draft is I'm probably trading up and trying to get 2 impact players. For me, they're probably a defensive end and offensive line. Probably if I have 1 or 2 picks left in the lower rounds, every time I make a trade, just my history, and I'm always excited when I see the Lions do it. So let's just say, for the sake of discussion, first round, I trade the first round pick and our third round pick, move it to, pick 20 in the first round. I'm going to say, all right, we'll do that, but you got to give us your 7th round pick. So I keep the same amount of picks. That way I can still bring in that same amount of younger, cheaper talent. You could even say cheaper talent. Second round, I'm probably, doing something like trading the second round pick and maybe a 5th and a 6th, maybe even need a 7th to move up earlier and then get another player as well. That's what I would do. That being said, I'm not so sure that's what Brad Holmes would do. I do think that if there is sound value for a trade offer for us at 29, he's probably taking and acquiring a lot more draft picks. And from there, he's going to move around like he did last year throughout the draft. I just think unless there's one of the real premium players that presents themselves to us at 29, he's going to say, let's trade back and let's get sort of like you're seeing in free agency. Let's get, instead of just 5 guys this draft, let's try to get 7 or 8 guys. And you know what? The law of averages is going to come into play. We're going to get more guys that surprise and make the team that way. So that's my anticipation. All right, Don, morning coffee, Lions Talk Live. Go Lions, 100%. Hopefully you're enjoying the morning coffee, my friend. Manifest, what player in the first round would surprise you the most Detroit would go after? I'm going to say cornerback or wide receiver. Those would probably be my biggest surprises. All right, Robert, wide receiver. There you go. Trump, we need another running back unless Craig Reynolds is back. He is back. He is back, and same with Knight. All right, David should trade up and get someone to help Hutch next season. That they could do it, man. I could totally see that happening. All right, Bo, what do you got? So we have a good tight end room. James Mitchell is pretty good. We know what Brock Wright does. I think Zylstra's back. He is, man. I think he is back and healed up. All right, Joseph, we got green salutations, Coach Dan and Duke Crew back at you, Joseph. Hopefully you have an outstanding morning. Donkey Kong Holmes is going to shock us all! Exclamation points. It's definitely best player available regardless of position. Can't go wrong when you're constantly adding quality talent. Joseph, I saw yesterday that we got Zettler because the Ravens got rid of him in another offensive lineman because they couldn't afford them after paying Lamar Jackson his $250 million contract. Yeah, man, you feel for players. I mean, you're happy your friend, your teammate got a huge contract. but there's the ramifications of that in that now there's less money to go around to the team. It sucks. It stinks. Nobody likes to have that go ahead and happen. I'm sure if you even asked Lamar Jackson, he probably isn't happy about it. But at the same point, it's a business, and it's the downside of the business. All right, Anthony, 157 in the chat. Like, subscribe, and order your Duke Crew t-shirts, 100%. If you haven't yet subscribed, please consider doing so and smash that like button. All right, Brosi, seems like Detroit is relying on Jameson Williams and Khalif Raymond too much. Neither player has put up a starting wide receiver caliber season yet in their careers. No, and I think Khalif is more or less he is what he is. He's, punt kickoff returner, good value depth, I guess you could say, at the wide receiver room. Jameson Williams, I will say this, last year, at least to me, he kept improving. And obviously in the NFC title game, he had perhaps his best game as a pro. I think that's going to become his new norm. I could see him being used more and more and drawing attention away. One thing I'll also say, Broski, is if you go back and watch, we'll say from about the middle of the season until the end of the season, watch the coverages. In my opinion, at least, you can see about 60 to 70% of the time, the opposing team doubles him, which means, you can only double team so many people. You're leaving favorable coverage now for Laporta or St. Brown or Gibbs or whoever, man. And a lot of that is because of how other teams, their defense coordinators, are choosing to handle Jameson Williams. With what he did in the title game, I'm going to expect next year, assuming he's healthy, ready to go from the start, you're going to see that continue because most teams do not have a lockdown corner that can keep up with him, especially on deeper patterns consistently. Once in a while, sure. But, throughout the course of the game, I'm going to guess he's going to get double teamed far more than not. All right, Robert, what do you got? I totally agree, DK. All right. JDC, to the, quote, Main Street Media, end quote, learn the names of the 2024 Detroit Lions. They will be big. They will. We're heading the right direction for sure. Brosi, Lions are also relying on Marcus Davenport too much. All he's proven is that he gets injured every season. He's not an NFL starter. Maybe not, but the one thing I do think the Lions will be able to do, assuming they don't do anything in the draft or still in free agency, Broski, is I do think they're going to be able to use a combination of Davenport, maybe Betts, Joshua Pascal, and then, of course, my prediction to start, James Houston. I get Houston isn't great in the running game, but man, oh man, opposing quarterbacks, in my opinion, if you face Aiden Hutchinson along with Ali McNeil, DJ, and James Houston, that's a pretty formidable defensive front when it comes to getting after the quarterback. And now if you can help protect Houston a little bit with his weaknesses in the running game with DJ Reader plus the linebackers, that might be just the route they go. Jeff Webb, what do you got? The ex-receiver first round. There you go. All right, Detroit D, good greetings, salutations, everyone. Back at you, my friend. Hopefully having a great day. And back at you again. All right, West Coast Lion. Do you think we will steal draft for another player? It's possible, sure. Could we trade up to get a specific player or trade some future capital? I would say it doesn't seem to be Brad Holmes's norm to trade future picks for current draft, but you never know, man. And greetings, salutations, everyone. Yes, 100% Detroit D, 100%. Hopefully having a great morning, my friend. Man, Bear, best of the morning, all. Back at you, man, Bear. Hopefully having an outstanding morning. Kara, this is exactly what Brad meant by winning in December. It's a long season, and you need bodies for that next man up mentality, exclamation point. He's got himself quality and quantity, especially with the draft coming, 100%. That 53-man roster and even the practice squad should be pretty juiced. I mean, there should be depth across the board. I won't be surprised at all. Whoever goes onto our practice squad, unfortunately, is probably going to get poached left and right just because there should be some real guys out there. BS, Darius Robinson, why him? I get that, man. He's a player. Trump's good morning, Bear. All right, the non-laughers, what happened if the new O-lineman doesn't pass his physical today? Yeah, he's not getting a contract then, and he's out of town. He officially hasn't signed yet. Yeah, it's all, I get he's got to pass the physical and then sign, but I'm assuming that's going to be a formality at this point. Bo, we don't need no stinking windows. No, we can make our own. JDC Magic 8 Ball says thunder and lightning will terrorize behind the storm front. Go Lions. Hey, you know what? I think this offense this year could be. Last year was good. I think next year could be even better. Especially, who knows? Like some of you guys are forecasting, maybe we do add another real threat with the receiver room in the first round or something. Not saying that's what we're going to do, but if that happens, man, that offense could just be scary good. Broski, Trump's genius, good morning. All right. Walt, good morning, coach and do crew. Made a morning show. Brad is awesome. Exclamation points. Don't forget to hit the like button. Yes. And Walt, hey, glad you made the morning show. Hopefully, you have an outstanding day, my friend. Enjoy a morning Mountain Dew or two. All right. The non-laughers. Robertson has a hell of a punch game. There you go. Yeah, he does, though. I think you're spot on with that with Robertson. Anthony, get your Do Crew t-shirts now. Go ahead and order them. Hold on here. Here is Anthony's contact information if you so desire. He's got to have orders in by the 23rd. All right, Lions 68. What do you got? Do we ever sign the quarterback we brought in from the Texans? Not at this time yet. No, not at this time. All right, Anthony, no worries, coach, 100%. And thank you for all you do, my friend. JDC, Jenny, all right. We'll go with that. Ian, Detroit's window is closed, ? No problem, because Holmes is out here kicking in the front door. Yeah, we don't need a window when we're just going to take the top off the building. All right, Robert G., how much for T-shirts with shipping and handling? And Anthony, he'll have to answer that. Trump's draft running back from Michigan. There you go. West Coast Land, press the thumbs up. One pride, one Lions pride. There you go. And yeah, if you can help out the channel with either subscribing or hitting the thumbs up, I surely would be thankful. All right, Broski, say it with me, Dan. Javian, yeah. Sorry, man. It's just, I'm not always the best at pronouncing things. Davian Clowney. I'm on it, man. Wolford, my boy from work is going. There you go. Yeah, I know a lot of people will be going to the draft, especially since it's downtown Detroit. I don't know yet if I'll be going. I've got to decide if I'm going to broadcast it or go there. My guess is broadcasting it, but who knows, man. Southwest Line trading away too much draft capital for a single player puts a lot of pressure on that one player. Look what happened to Denver with Russell Wilson. Yeah, I agree with you. That's why I'm saying if we do the trade up scenario, my anticipation would be, you trade up whatever your first and your third to move up a couple spots. You're getting their first and then a 7th or a 6th in return. Max Keenan Allen would have been a great addition. Too bad he went to the Bears for only a 4th. Yeah, I get it, man. But my guess is the Lions, if they're going to add to the wide receiver room, maybe they do have some targets in the draft. Of course, they've added some people this offseason as well. Broski, Bears cornerbacks are going to lock up the Lions below average wide receiver group. We'll see what happens, man. We will see. Will they be able to handle the tight ends and wide receivers plus the running backs? I mean, it's going to be an accumulation of things. And we got to figure out what you guys are going to do at quarterback. To me, that would be the biggest thing facing you guys, Broski, this season. You guys clearly have improved the offense, but it's now I'm going to guess at least, come down to a rookie quarterback getting their feet wet, going through the nuances, figuring stuff out. If you guys really hit it there, though, you do well with it. I mean, I know I've said it, I think in a few years, you guys will be great when that quarterback develops. But if you can do it now this year and he just, clicks from day one, then it's going to be a 3-horse race for the NFC North. All right, Bo, what do you got? I don't see Brad Holmes trading away the future, no matter how good a guy is. Yeah, I agree. I don't think he's going to trade the future draft picks for a current player now. I agree with that 100%. Mile, good morning, coach and crew. Back at you, Mile. Hopefully you're having a good one. Doug, I like Corum as a bulldog goal line running back man with our offensive line. Could happen 3rd round, yes. If we don't trade that 3rd round pick, yeah, that could happen. Covering any injuries, HD running back, yeah, I'll go with that. Bo, trade up. I've been saying that since the offseason started. Who and what? To me, if they trade up, it's got to be for a defensive edge. That's to me at least. Seeing that would really help the defense out a lot. But I do wonder if there's going to be that kid who's going to be able to come in from day one and help, or if it's going to be somebody to groom. I'm anticipating if you get somebody in the late teens, early 20s, you're probably needing some time to work with them, as you would with most rookies at that spot. Not all of them, but most. Trey, what do you got? Rising to all. Did you take a flyer on Chase Young for a year? I think he signed with the Saints, so he's off the board. Somebody can confirm that, but I'm pretty sure that's accurate. And good morning to you too, Trey. Hopefully, have a great one. Robert, what do you got? Robertson, Leggett, Tampa, Zittner. Yeah, all good options. Kara, the Saints picked up Chase Young. Yeah, that's what I thought. Broski at Trey, Chase Young signed with the Saints. Correct. All right, so I did catch that right. All right, Doug, you don't have to get our starter at number 29. We can build this team with more depth now, wide receiver, offensive line, and edge. Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could be a depth piece. J-Rod, good morning, Coach and Duke crew. I would love to trade up without losing our 29. So we have 2 first-rounders. The player of impact need are not going to slide into the second. That gives us 3 before. Okay, I will go with that, and I could see Brad Holmes doing it. It's just his history seems to suggest trading back more than trading up, but it doesn't mean he won't trade up. Bo, no way Chase Young. Brad Holmes didn't go after him last year, not going after him this year, and then he does. Okay, it's no longer an option this year. All right, Trey, what do you got? Broski, thank you. I didn't know he was signed already. Yeah, I want to say it was like late last night or early this morning he signed, something like that. Trey, I wouldn't be surprised if they took a corner in the first round. That would catch a lot of people off guard, but there might be some good corners that will drop to 29. There's going to be some good spots, I think, that come to us. I've already said it on the Today Show. I'm guessing it's the offensive line is the biggest room with the most depth. So if we don't go after him in 29, I won't be surprised because there's probably going to be some very favorable selections in front of us in the second round. Anthony, he's nothing we're needing. All right. Doug, anyone know if Zettler has passed his medical? I think that's today. I believe his medical, later today, probably around 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That's typically when they have the medical staff go through players. So if that all goes well, then probably by 3:30, 4 o'clock, you get news of the signing, maybe even terms of the contract. So pay attention to that timeline. Anthony, and see no reason why he shouldn't pass. He's a Pro Bowler. Yeah, he should pass. So, but you never know. We'll wait and see what they have to say about it, etc. So my guess is he'll be all right and good to go, but make sure the medical staff confirms that. All right, Kara, Goff and Jameson worked on their chemistry, and you could tell Jameson started to slow down a little more and run better routes so Goff could get it to him. Those practice reps shine through. Yeah, and especially you get another off season where they're together, probably help things out exponentially. All right, J-Rod, at Coach, do you know if playing guard for Ragnow would be easier on his footing set? Curious, Glasgow can play center. Ragnow and Zettler next to him could be beneficial if possible. So let's start with your first part of your question. Is it going to help with the foot? Probably not, because especially where they're at, one of the unfortunate parts is all the contact you take on the feet with, just people stepping forward, rushing. Feet get stepped on a lot. So I don't think it would help out a ton. I want to say it's his right foot. So if you're going to do it to try to protect the foot, you would move him to the right guard just because that's going to be your lead back foot while sliding back. So there's less opportunities throughout the season on a normal basis for someone to step on it as much. But I also think this right now is just going to power through it for the next season or two. I think you're probably capped with him as far as seasons he'll still play is probably going to be 2. So it's not a bad time to start grooming somebody for his replacement. I know some of you guys mentioned yesterday about Evan Brown bringing him in. Maybe that happens. Maybe you bring him in just for depth. But as far as the long-term replacement, you probably want to start drafting someone to get him in and get him ready. Bird time. Williams is going to be a breakout receiver this year. He's legit. I would agree. I think this is going to be a big year for him. Michael, DJ Reader is 6'3" and 335 pounds. Defense looking better by the day. It's offense that needs some love as well. Question mark. Your thoughts? No, I think there is some potential. I think the offense is going to be pretty dang good this year. Maybe even better than last year. Now, would the team benefit from another, say, stud receiver? Sure. What team won it? That also being said, you've got so many targets out there already. I wouldn't be breaking the bank bringing somebody in. But if one of the real interesting wide receivers was there at 29 or in the second round, could I see Brad Holmes going for him? Sure, 100%. Jay Williams fan, what do you got? Most people don't understand how DJ Reader helps the pass rush when he will command double teams, and that leaves guys like Hutch one-on-one. Yeah, I think you're spot on with that. He's going to have a cumulative effect There's going to be a huge symbiotic relationship between him and all of his compadres on that defensive line. You can only double team so much. You can only chip so much without really slowing down or displacing your offense. So pick your poison. You're going to double team him. You're going to double team Lee McNeil. You're going to double team James Houston. You're going to double team Aiden Hutchinson. At some point, nobody's going out in routes if you're going to do all that. Bo Martin is as big as Reader. DJ is the guy to make him better. And that's the other part that, for the most part, we're not talking a ton about. We talk about guys needing time to develop. If Broderick Martin really comes out and just crushes it this year, hey, he's learned his lessons or whatever, he's got some technique down, he's ready to go. Imagine that rotation with those three at defensive tackle between Reader, Aleem, and Martin. And now if the Lions still go after someone like, say, Sweat from Texas, which I'm a fan of this kid, that defensive line, the interior defensive line, would just be phenomenally deep. Man, it'd be crazy how good that thing would be. All right, John, what do you got? The offensive line we just picked up is huge. Yeah, that huge move by the Lions and Brad Holmes. I think that's going to help out a ton. All right, J-Rod, our front D is definitely better now. We'll see. Patience, agreed. Bird time, exactly, Kara. Teams don't win in March. I completely trust Brad Holmes. We will win the North again and compete for a Super Bowl. Woo! 100%. And hey, so far he's a man of his word. He said he wasn't looking for headlines this spring. He was looking for regular season headlines and then a path to the Super Bowl. He's doing what he can. All right, Broski had to look up James Houston. He had 8 sacks as a rookie. He's only 6'1", 245. So I understand what Dan is saying. He's not a run stopper. He's basically linebacker size playing on, D-line. Yeah, and you look at – so, Broski, since you don't know about him, here's what I'll say. Why I like him so much is he is incredibly rare when it comes to his ability to go forward, bend and contort his body, and that goes all the way down the leg to the knee to the ankle to the foot. He is able to take so much pressure with somebody exerting force on him and be able to dip and get around a lot of offensive tackles for the most part. He's got closing speed. He's got pursuit. He can run down someone like a Justin Fields. So here's my point. The chance of getting somebody who supersedes him in that one aspect of the game is going to be tough. He is not strong in the running game. That's why I would pair him next to DJ Reader if it was up to me, just because Reader's going to probably get double teamed a ton. That means you're more often than not leaving Houston in one-on-one pass rush situations on that side of the line. With that being said, teams pass 60 or more percent of the time. Yes, in the run game, when you've on first down or so, you're probably going to have to augment that defensive line. And then the second level of the D, the linebackers or safety over the back of him just to help protect him. But he's so rare at that one aspect of things, and you are wanting more pass rush out of this team. That's why I would be going with him, because the rare, to me, supersedes the weakness in the running game. Broski, laugh out loud. There you go. Bo, what do you got? Bears still have a mid O-line. Coaching, ? Not going to hold my breath. I mean, that's something if I would have been in control of the Bears, which we all know I wasn't, I would have kept Justin Fields. I would have tried to trade down that first-round pick, try to at least get 2 firsts and maybe some other change with it, and I would have addressed that offensive line. Then I think the Bears really would have had a window for a couple of years, but that's not what they chose to do, so going away from it. Tomorrow we need Jonah Ellis at edge. Yeah, and his ties to the Detroit Lions. I know a lot of people have talked about him and brought him up. A couple more here, and then it's due 30 for me. Matthew, trade our first, third, and 2025 third to Carolina for their second-round picks. 33 and 39. That's maybe not a bad idea. Maybe not a bad idea at all, especially if you could get like a 2025 7th or 6th round pick too. So, again, I want to keep the same amount of picks even if I trade back. Burger time. It's hilarious, Broski. Talking smack. You guys suck and always get it wrong. Keep calling. You will be eating your words. Hey, everybody's got their opinions, man. Ian, what do you got? If we were to trade up, I'd like to get Jared Verse from Florida State. Great edge. Yeah, that's not a bad name at all. Burger time. Signed with the Saints last night. Yeah, as far as Chase Young. Joseph, I don't think Chase Young is at all that myself. He hasn't been as impressive as I think a lot of people were anticipating in his NFL career. All right, Gerard, scared the Bears getting Jackson Powers. Yeah, that would help their line a ton. Silver Surfer, I would draft running back Vidal from Troy in later round, small, upper, super low to the ground, 5'7", but shifty and with strength, 213 pounds. Somebody of interest for sure. Doug, I mentioned the Carolina trade yesterday. We can actually get 33, 39, and 101 and lose 29, 61, and 73. Closer to stardom type players. There you go. Yeah, all right. All right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up now. We've gone on for, looks like just about an hour. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. Making that push to get to 6,200 subs. And we're about, 60 subs away or something like that from it. So also, if you could do, on top of subscribing, if you could also hit that thumbs up button, helps the channel out a ton. I surely would be thankful. If there's some breaking news later today, I'll try to get on the horn as fast as possible. Otherwise, I hope you all take care, enjoy your day, and we'll see you on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, all.